My name's Anne. I'm a compulsive overeater, and thank you for allowing me to share this morning. I'm very nervous, so I'll hand my day over to God as I always do. God, please direct my fear, remove my fear and direct me to what you would have me be. I'm Anne, and as I say, it's a real gift that I'm here today. It's a gift that I'm anywhere today, but I'm 300 days abstinent in a way. And I suppose my story goes back really 40, a lot, nearly 50 years, but it's never too late. And today I'm abstinent, and that's a gift. So I'll just share a bit of my personal story. Is that I'm the youngest of 5 children and was brought up in Northern Ireland in a small village and on a farm, and everything was perfect, I thought, in our home. And I was very happy and content child at school and everything else. And then around 16, when I was over 16, we lost our mother in a car accident. And then the real truth of the family and what was happening really came to the fore. We were very dysfunctional. And my father would have had anger issues and verbally violent, more to my brothers. And my mother was a very kind woman. But then when she died, just things changed an awful lot. It changed. It was so dysfunctional that the day after my mother's funeral, I went back to school because it was better to be at school doing my CSEs, my main exams, than it was to be at home. And I don't know where I got that courage from. And I did sit the exams, and I did stay on at school for another month. And I didn't notice anything about my diet and my body image. But I had started to smoke very early. I'm a very, very addictive person. I had started to smoke very early, about 14. And I think that did cover my eating disorder. So I continued on through life. Definitely, I thought I was very spiritual because I prayed like Bill drank in the big book. I prayed, I fasted, I did everything I could, and I survived. And I know I've always had my higher power, but it's just this. And now I realise in this programme that what I was doing was I was praying and pleading and bartering, and I was on the driving seat, and I know God had me, but I didn't appreciate it or respect it, or thank God I do today. But anyway, I was to go on. I did function through life. I swayed from 5 stone overweight, and that went on for the last 40 years. I've been swaying, losing and gaining and losing and gaining that 40 stone, that 4 or 5 stone. But really, when I think of it, over all those years, I could be a 600-pound woman only for the grace of God. And I always exercised. I got up in the morning at 6 o'clock and I walked. I went to the spinning. I drove 30 miles away. I did everything in the book to try and stop. But I just lived on a roundabout of resentment and denial and blame on everybody else and regrets. I couldn't stop starting diets. I couldn't stop. I was obsessed in the mind. But I was thinking about it this morning, and if somebody was to play my life in a film, it'd be very silent, because this was all done silently. I was never aggressive outside. I was never loud. I functioned. I went on and did my studying and got my exams and had loads of friends. But inside, I was just very, very lonely, and even within company and my family and the whole lot. Very, very distressed, and always self-loathing, and hated myself. I bought clothes out of fear. I bought bigger ones. I wore a lot too tight, and I shared on these 10 steps that I wore my shoes too tight. And like I was buying size 5 for years, and I was already a 6 or 6.5. Anyway, I survived and I functioned and I worked full time and everything else, but I was still I was absolutely suicidal inside. So what happened? I tried everything. I tried thousands of pounds and hours in counselling, hypnotherapy, you name it, I did it. Powder diets, diet pills, everything. I tried everything, and I mean that. And today I'm 6 sizes smaller. I don't weigh, and that day is gone now once I got into the proper program, and God guided me to this one. So what happened eventually after I got married to the kindest man I know, But the way my sickness left me was that I resented everybody. If he couldn't do electrical work, I resented. And he's the kindest person I know. And thank God we've both survived long enough that I can make it up to, and I have made amends. I reared me three boys. Oh, thank you. I reared 3 sons, and they're all affected by my diet and buying diet foods. I really went with those ads, and my sister didn't. I don't know why I did. I have the disease and she hasn't, thank God. And I went with all the ads. I always self-loathing. I should be this size. I should be. And even when I was my slimmest, the dread was in my stomach. I'm going to put it all back on again. How will I live? That continued on, and I kept starting again. I never stopped starting. So then eventually my 3 boys, I've made amends to them, and they have issues with weight, and thank God they're coping today, and they're all adults. So what happened then was 11 months ago, our son came home and his wife to tell us they were expecting a baby. And that was a delightful moment. And the fear grew in me again. I just lived on fear. What, the God kind of a granny am I going to be? What have I to give to a child? And I love children. And I thought I couldn't live in my own skin. So then a month after that, we were 40 years married, and I was again on another diet. I'd stopped this certain food. And my food list had progressed enormously now. It had started on a few things, but it had progressed over the years. You can imagine, over 40 years. So then when we were out for our party, a little family party, and again, nothing tempted me because I had my mind made up. I really meant it every time I joined. I didn't join any clubs since COVID. So then again, I started, broke it, and about 3 days later, I was in. So that's on a week later, I just knew something different had happened, and I forgot to say that 2 years before that, I took COVID, and I joined into the morning meetings, but I never was honest. I never got a sponsor, and I listened to each and every one of you, and I knew I could identify with each and every one, what you were saying and everything, but no, I was so stubborn. I had all the defects of character, and I would not give up. But something happened on that Sunday night, and I'd taken down the numbers, the capital S's for sponsorship. I'd taken them down over the time. God was guiding me, for I didn't do it. And I just, I crashed. I went upstairs. I was suicidal. I couldn't live in my skin anymore. It wasn't that I wanted to die. I just couldn't live. And something happened, and I said, I just have to cross this bridge of denial. And something happened, and I was able to lift the phone, and I phoned 3 or 4 people. I don't know who or what I said. The first few people couldn't, and then this wonderful sponsor said to me, she listened, and it was the way she made me feel was, and all were the same. It was the kindness in her voice, the acceptance, the serenity, the peace. She didn't make me feel how I treated myself like a leper. And she said, give it a chance. So my story began, and within the week, she had come back and said she could. And something happened that night, and it was God sent, because it wasn't me. And I handed over. I crossed that bridge, as it says in the big book in 328. Crossed the bridge of denial, because I was so stuck in that there. And once I did, God has taken me on the most wonderful journey of 300 days. My sponsor achieved, my big thing was my foods, my red foods, and I had to be totally honest. I was so dishonest in my life before that. I had every defect of character on that page. So I was really, really honest, and I mean honest to everything that any food that I start that I couldn't stop, I put on that page. But what I was really, really surprised with was the amount of green foods that I could start and didn't have to abuse. I was really shocked with that. But to top it all out, my biggest eye opener was my eating behaviours. The behaviours, I filled 3 pages: where I ate, why I ate, how I ate, the amount I ate. I lifted the box out of the bin again and started an hour later. I did all this, and me sick. When the sickness would leave, So I grazed the whole time. I was terrified of hunger, and it was an empty hole that only God could fill. I know that from today. I stayed with my sponsor. She worked with me. She guided me, and I knew clearly she's not a counsellor. She's not my friend. She's clearly God sent to me in her words.
Go on, Anne.
And thank you. And then I started with I just listened. I had to start again like a baby, start again, and listen to everything that was started from step one, and I just stayed with it hour by hour and all the steps. And finally, I got really, really honest. I stayed abstinent from that day to this, and that's God sent. I kept doing my steps, the prayers, the preamble, the promises, all that there just stood out. I knew I was home because everywhere I went, I really give it me all, but I was in the wrong place, and I wasn't leading. Today it's God. So today I just go by everything that OA says. It's my life. I've got off social media. I listen to podcasts. I do my prayers. I live very simply. My shopping list is simple. I've made amends to the people I can, and living and dead. And I'm a lot of resentments. I just lived on that. But what I learned truly from this is every resentment I had about everybody was all towards myself. It was all my perception of the truth, my perception of reality, my attitude. And I thought I was the Queen of Sheba. I thought I was the kindest person. I thought I was so gentle, so honest. And honestly, that inside I was very, very different. But thank God that I didn't make any enemies. I did function as best I could. And I do always know that my higher power and my late mother always was near me. And how am I doing for time?
You have roughly 3 minutes 20 left.
And all I can say is that for me, I needed, it's like the set aside prayer and the pause. I couldn't pause. I couldn't meditate. I physically couldn't stop my mind and meditate. So I had to put on padded wee iPads, and I did everything, and I asked for help. I'm very, very stubborn before this. As I say, I did all in silence, and nobody would have knew the real me. And most of all, my husband that I'm with 43 odd years, and every day the communication is getting better. He's not half as anxious. My boys, when they would talk to me and they'd tell me what was happening, I would give them advice. And again, I had to listen to my own words when I told them, briefly about my program and to stay in my own lane. So they were soon able to tell me to stay in my own lane, and they were able to be honest. My second name was fear, and my third name was blame everyone. Today, I live in the most peaceful, contented. I'm not perfect. My life isn't perfect, but it is so peaceful and calm and honest. And I'm saying my own words. I was a total people pleaser. Today, I'd hand this over to God, saying this and helping me, because I could not do it. And I mean it to anybody that hasn't joined before. The biggest thing for me was to say honestly out and speak to a human being and tell them, ask for help. I was so stubborn with all my defective character, and I didn't know. I wasn't aware. This program gives you all the literature, the prayers I have. I have a full book of prayers now. Every book in my bookcase was this diet, the other diet. Nothing works, because every time I joined, I really meant it. I really want to do it well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop and relive my life again from where I am today. I feel like I'm a teenager again, but I'm going to enjoy it this time with my wee granddaughter. I'm blessed 10 weeks ago, a wee granddaughter. And, wee books and all the wee stories and films that I never took time to do. And I was so immature in my emotional. Today, I'm truly honest, and I think that I'm going to wear the brightest, silliest clothes and anything that, as long as I'm not embarrassing her. And I really feel that my life's only starting now, the real true me. And I'm blessed that God has given me that. And I thank you for listening to me. And I think I'm near the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm just saying to newcomers, please stay with this program. There is nowhere else. I have tried it all. And in my wisdom, I worked with psychology and the whole lot. Nothing works. So I'll end it there. Thank you.